Welcome back to Baking Tips with Gioia. Today's episode, it's going to be super delicious as it's taking me back to my time in Italy. We're going to do some chocolate espresso biscottis. For our chocolate espresso biscottis, we're gonna need cocoa powder, espresso powder, salt, baking powder, all-purpose flour, eggs, chocolate chip. I'm using semi-sweet, just to, bring it down a little bit on the sugar, butter, brown sugar, and regular sugar. And this is very simple. You have to make sure that your butter is at room temperature because we are going to cream it with our 2 sugars because we want it to be nice and fluffy. So we're gonna go ahead and cream that. Okay, so after about 2 minutes, our butter and sugars have creamed. You could also do this by hand with a hand mixer. I just would always go for my stand mixer just because it's much more convenient. But totally up to you. I'm just gonna make sure to scrape down the bowls. That way everything gets nice and mixed when I add my eggs now. These are just delicious. If you like chocolate, this is the recipe to do. And the espresso powder, it's a great idea. It's a great add-on to any chocolate recipe because espresso powder, coffee in general, brings out the chocolate flavor. So it's just heaven. So now we're going to add our eggs. Make sure it incorporates. Make sure it incorporates well, and vanilla. And at this point, do not worry. It's going to look kind of curdled, but please rest assured that there's nothing wrong with your batter. You just have to make sure, again, that the sides are well scraped. And now it's time to add our dry ingredients, which I am going to quickly, in a very savage way, mix it all together. You see, it looks kind of curdled, like weird looking, but don't worry about it. You'll see in a minute how it's all going to come together. Leave nothing behind, as my grandma taught me. And let's turn it back on and give it a quick little mix. Once your dough starts to come together, you're going to add your chocolate chips. So that way, by the time the dough is completely together, the chips have also gotten inside the dough, and you have not overmixed it. Okay, that looks great. Oof, the smell of cocoa. Of cocoa powder and the espresso. It's just so good. Make sure to use good quality cocoa powder. You don't have to go crazy like buying the most expensive one, but that does make a difference when making anything that's chocolatey, because that's the most predominant flavor, so you want it to be good quality, otherwise you're going to get a mediocre product. Now we are going to preheat your oven. I always forget, but you have to preheat your oven at 350 before you start this, because you want it to be nice and hot by the time you finish up making your log and all that stuff. Now, let me get some flour. Let me take this out of the side, out of the way, and you're going to lightly flour your surface because this is kind of a sticky dough, and so you're going to be working with it. You want to make sure nothing sticks to the surface. So what you're looking for is to make a 9 by 11, 9 by 13 log, because you are going to, well actually, what I'm going to do is I am just going to do it right on my baking sheet, because otherwise it's going to be super hard to transfer. So you want to create a rectangle as even and as flat as you possibly can, and thin also. Otherwise you're gonna get super big, a super big block, and you don't want that. Or super tall, I should say. With your hands, I mean your palms, I'm sorry, you're going to flatten it out. What I like to do first is take it to the thickness that I want it, and then I fix the edges and all that stuff and make it nice and straight. If I were at my bakery, I would use a bench scraper to, make it easier on me. When I'm at home, I don't have anything professional here, so I am relying on my hands. And you don't have to make it perfect. These are not for sale. These are for your own personal consumption. And these also make for great gifts when it comes to gift giving, when it's time to, give some gifts on the holidays, a little thank you, a little souvenir. You just bake them, you let them cool, and you put them in a nice bag with a little ribbon, thank you, a thank you note. You're good to go. Okay, so this looks about right to me. You're going to bake this, because we're going to bake it twice. Remember, that's why the name Biscotti. We are going to put them in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes, just so we can get the first half of the baking process done, and then you'll see the rest. Okay, so our biscottis have baked for the first time at 350 for 25 minutes. I said 20 prior, but it's actually 25. And also, as you can see, my log is not a log, it's more of a rectangle, because by mistake I made it all in one log. You should, if you want, cut it in half and do 2 different logs to get smaller biscottis. This really does not mean anything. The recipe is still going to be amazing and still going to be perfect. It's just that my biscottis are going to be extra long and maybe a little lean, but I don't care about that. You shouldn't care about that either. But I did want to give that disclaimer, that I did, that mine are going to turn out to be much longer than the traditional biscottis. But other than that, it's all good. So now we're going to lower our oven to 325, and we're going to let this sit for 10 minutes, until it's cool enough to handle, because we're going to slice it now for the second round of baking. So, as I told you, the biscottis, I made them in a weird way, and now I tried cutting up a slice just to see how it would go. Ideally, you would take this off and put it on a cutting board and cut it, because this till pad is very delicate and you don't want to cut it with your knife directly. Like, you want to use your knife directly on top of it. But as I was cutting it, and because it's so long, it's breaking. So what I am going to do is, please don't kill me, I am just going to do mini biscottis. They are not going to end up looking perfect, but I don't think anyone will care. essentially you're gonna get the idea. So now, cut them. Let me take them out of the way. Cut them about 3/4 of an inch thick. And these are actually going to end up being more like cookie sticks. But now, what you're gonna do is you're going to, the corner, no, not the corner, but this, you're gonna put it facing up for the second baking. Okay. And I'm just gonna finish the rest up and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I finished slicing up all my pieces, and as you can see, this turned out, doing it by the way that I did it, they came out a decent size. Now, you can make them wider, you can make them however you want. If you do what I just told you a few minutes ago of dividing the dough into two and doing 2 9 by 3 inches logs, you should be able to get the same size, but without the straight angle, which is, honestly, I don't care, my friends don't care, they just want to eat this. Now it's ready for its second round, and my oven is at 325, and I'm going to bake this for 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven, until they're nice and crispy. Okay, so after 25 minutes, my biscottis came out. I let them sit for a little bit, for about 10 minutes, just for them to harden, so I can show you. They're still warm, but you want them to cool completely before storing them. You can store them in an airtight container for weeks, and they last a really long time. This is perfect for dipping in coffee, and a little quick, like more history. These biscottis, you can dip them, we dip them in coffee, hot chocolate, milk, whatever. But the cantuccini or the cantucci, the only way you eat them is after dinner with vin santo or vinsant, which is an Italian sweet wine. It's the only way Italians allow it. So this is not, as crunchy as I would like because they're still warm, but I just can't wait. This is awesome if you love chocolate. It's only meant for chocolate lovers because it's all over it, like the dough, the chocolate chips, and that espresso powder really brings it up like all together. And I mean, there's nothing else to say except don't forget to subscribe and click the link below to get the recipe. Bye.